My name is Noura Mahrakawi. I'm going to be your moderator for today. We're going to start shortly. Just give us a few seconds for more people to join.
Yeah, I'm here, Noor.
Great. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining. I'm here with Mr. Ala Shaheen. He's going to be our speaker for today on how to win more grants and tenders. Mr. Ala has had over 20 years of experience working with NGOs in Egypt and Palestine. He has many years of writing proposals and he will be walking us through his presentation for today. So I will be giving him the floor.
Okay. Thank you, Noor. My name is Ala Shaheen, as Noor has just introduced me. And I would like, first of all, to say Ramadan Kareem. In'ad alaykum bil khair, everyone. Ramadan Kareem. And thank you very much for attending this webinar, which I think it's a very important one for any consulting firm or non-governmental organizations who are working in the Middle East to capture more grants and contracts and to secure financial security for their organizations. And it's not only financial security for organizations, but organizational development. Partnerships funding is important. And it's not important, again, into cash and monetary or in-kind contribution, but it's important for the sustainability and the growth and the expansion of organizations. I would like just to share my screen with you now. 1 minute, please. No, 1 minute. No. Is the screen clear now? Do you see the screen clearly?
Yes, we can see the screen clearly.
Okay, perfect. I'm presenting DARPE. DARPE is a website. It's a portal, www.darpe.me, that is focusing only on the Middle East and North Africa region. I mean, the countries of the Middle East, from Iraq to and throughout Kingdom Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Palestine, Jordan, and until Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and Sudan, as well as we cover Turkey, because Turkey is part of the Middle East and is part of the current situation in terms of funding to support refugees, inclusion, livelihood, and cohesion. So we covered all of these countries. DARPE is a portal in which we aggregate. We just every day we go into hello. Could you please close your? Yeah. And so DARPE is a portal in which we collect and aggregate all tenders and the grant opportunities into the Middle East through DARPE. DARPE is the business development platform. Our purpose as DARPE, as this portal, which is an important one for a partnership, as I said, and I will explain now why DARPE, or why the DARPE and how DARPE is based on a process that will place grantees or contractors, consulting firms and NGOs into a very competitive best value proposals, and accordingly increase number of contract rewards and contract agreements and grants rewards, and so on, the financial security of these firms and organizations. Our purpose in general is to do more good for more people across the Middle East. And we think the right information can make a big difference. And we believe that proposal writers and business developers are agents of a change, because proposal writers and business developers or partnership specialists are the ones who design, who respond to requests for proposals or to unsolicited proposals, and design programs at which at the end the client or the funding agency will agree upon, and this proposal will be part of the contract document. agreements. That, and then the organization, the profit or non-profit organization, the consulting firm will implement what has been promised in the proposal. So if the proposal is great, then we will have a great impact, and we'll have more good for more people in the Middle East that we are serving. So only for financial and for capturing new grants or agreements, but proposal documents are part of the impact and the good that organizations would like to serve the beneficiaries of the Middle East, the people, the citizens in one hand. In cases like consulting firms, to serve the clients and the donor agencies, the funding agencies. DARPE, our mission, to deliver all business intelligence information or work or research that development practitioners need to move a tender or a grant opportunity into a winning proposal throughout the MENA region. Hello, you can't hear me?
We can hear you
Hello?
now.
You weren't hearing me, that's right?
Yes.
No, now we can hear you.
Vision. Okay, let me repeat again. Our people across the Middle East, and we think the right information can make a big difference. Our mission is to deliver the business intelligence information that development practitioners need to move a tender or a grant opportunity into a winning proposal throughout the MENA region. And as I just said, that proposal writers, business developers are agents of a change. Noor, please let me know if you can't hear me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Our process.
You're cutting out again. Mr. Ali?
1 minute, please. Okay, sorry for that. DARPE website, www.darpe.me, is designed.
Mr. Ali, you're cutting out again.
It's the internet. I'm so sorry, it's the internet connection. Anyway, I'm now into online again. Do you hear me, Noor?
Yes, this is much better.
Sorry for that interruption, but let me repeat again. DARPE is based on a process, and it's called Scout. The process is delivered through 4 phases: Scout, Engage, Position, and Capture. And this, we call it proactive business development or proposal writing. However, it's a very important process in order to secure grants and contract agreements. It's a process for strategic selection and strategic relationship building and strategic contract awards and grant awards. We start, our team aggregate and classify data into one easily searchable grants and tenders grants opportunity database. We search 850 plus of donor agencies' websites, implementing development implementing partners like international organizations, as well as local and regional NGOs who design, implement development aid funded projects or international development aid funded projects all over the MENA region. Through scouting, and then we start, the process is to engage with those clients and partners to get more understanding and build a better relationship. And then usually you need to position yourself, to market yourself, so people can hear about you, can learn about your excellent project success stories, excellent achievements that you have. And that's every donor, every consulting firm, and every non-governmental organization should and must have these successful stories and excellent past performance record to show and demonstrate. If they don't have that capacity and capability, so what they will get money for? So to get money for those right people who have been able to achieve and make change. So this is what you call positioning. It's the same word is used in the private sector. Positioning yourself among the crowd to increase your brand awareness and brand recognition. Once you scout and understand the opportunities and you engage with people and you know who are your partners and your clients and you position yourself, you are ready to capture and put a proposal on the table that is winning. So scout, engage, position, and capture is a lengthy process. Sometimes takes 1 year. And an opportunity, before the opportunity, let's say USAID opportunity, that is what there was a forecast, or European Union opportunity, there was a forecast in which they forecast that agencies that say that we intend to procure such services or procure the grant agreement. Then we start doing what you call engaging with the client, learning who they are, meeting with them. And this is not procurement, because it's at that time, it's not procurement sensitive yet, because the RFP is not out again. And then we start positioning ourselves by holding webinars or sending those clients emails of our successes, our muscles, our capacity, our competency that we are proud of. And then when the RFP is out, we start looking at the RFP, the document, analyze it, and start writing our proposal. And we call this is a proactive approach. So, but let's say that the RFP is out, which is usually all most consulting firms and non-governmental organizations start with. So the RFP is out, in which DARPE as well identify and track these opportunities. Let's say the RFP is there, and let's start working on the proposal and how can we win projects from international development aid funded projects. First of all, you need to identify the relevant opportunity. Not any opportunity consulting firms and non-governmental organizations should bid for or should respond to. They only respond to those strategic selection, which as I said, that DARPE is tracking 850 sources, including USAID, the World Bank, UK Aid, SIDA, UNIFPA, Latifa Foundation, Latifa Rabbani Foundation, Kuwait Fund for Development, Saudi Development Fund, UNDP, and so acted, NOFIC, the Netherlands. I would like to ask people to close their microphones. Thank you very much for that. So again, non-governmental organizations, even social entrepreneurs who are looking for fund, and consulting firms and individual consultants, they need to define relevant funding opportunity, either in the terms of tenders or in grants or request for a proposal, request for information, request for quotation, request for application, request for qualification, expression of interest, whatever the form is, or individual consulting opportunities. So the first step is to go through a whole list of opportunities, coming through whole kind of donors, and then start to select the right relevant strategic opportunity for your organization, which means that opportunity that matches with your expertise, matches with your capacity, matches with your personnel and consultants, or that opportunity that you look at it as a strategic in which you want to open a market for you and that opportunity, and that here is, it's a long shot, yes, but you are preparing yourself for. So you have to identify. The result is strategic selection. In the strategic selection, we go into a process called go or no go. So we go into every day tracking a list of opportunities here and there coming from everywhere. And from everywhere means that this is what we call in funding raising funding mix as well, if you're going to use the word funding and funding mix. And we start say, this is an appropriate, this is not appropriate, this is a long shot, I might not be able to compete, this is beyond our capacity, this client is aggressive and we will not work with them again. So you select the opportunity you would like to select. And this is a very important, which you have every day. You should be able to be in the know and be able to sort and to get a list of a pipeline of opportunities, and you start looking at them and you start select those strategic ones. Once you select that strategic opportunity and you would like to work on it, every opportunity usually requests an expression of interest or a request for a proposal with a deadline. So now we start in the process of writing the proposal. But shall I write directly? No. There are a lot of work. The first 5 days, usually 3 days, 4 days, it's a hard work for proposal developers and business developers to search as much as information they can, so they can put that information into a winning proposal, into a winning document that is responsive. We call it the pre-writing work, So at first, again, I want to repeat myself. The first step is identify relevant funding opportunity. The second step is you need to know more about your client, because you are submitting a proposal to that specific client. Proposal document is not a programmatic document alone. It's not a technical document alone. It's a technical and marketing and sales document in which you have to put solutions and to put the programmatic solutions that suits the client's requirements. So you need to learn about the agency that you are trying to partner with or you are trying to get money from. And here is, you need to get the whole DARPE, or the International Development Aid, is a very complex industry in the Middle East. And its relationships are in different areas. For instance, you have a multi-bilateral donor agency, which usually are governments. And those are mandated through the official development assistance to put money into the South, the countries, the poor countries, the middle income and low income countries. So those bilateral, multilateral agencies, including General Affairs of Canada, USAID, the Swedish International Development Agency, and OPEC, for instance, the organizations for the petroleum countries, producing countries, Islamic Development Fund, World Bank, and so on. They give the money, and sometimes they put the procedures and the procurement notice that is large enough that only large consulting firms, international ones, or UK-based, US-based, German-based, or large international organizations can apply for, because they have the machine, proposal writing machine, and they have the structure to be able to handle. So these are international organizations. This is the second layer, like ACTED, World Vision, Stephen Foundation, which is an organization part of the State Department. Those international organizations start putting grants to the local and regional organizations, NGOs. So there is a number, and those NGOs get and those local as well as local consulting firms to help in monitoring and evaluation or training needs assessment or capacity building. And they go to individual consultants as well. So the whole ecosystem is difficult and is complicated. So what you need to know is, first, once the RFP is out, you need to learn more about your client. What you need to know, how the question comes to us usually, how can I learn about USAID? How can I learn about Danish Refugee Council? How can I learn about Chemonics or EECOM as international consulting firms? How can I know about Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan organization or Misk Foundation Misk Foundation from Saudi Arabia? The question comes in, okay, and the issue is meet with them. But I can't meet with them because now it's procurement sensitive. And I don't know anyone there to let me go in and meet with using personal connections. So what shall I do as a non-governmental organization or a consulting firm to bid and compete? Do your research, do your homework, click on these websites. We have it in DARPE, the website for each organization, the contact information for each organization, or each client, or each funding agency. We have a list of their history of previous procurement notices, which if you read and skim, it will give you a lot of understanding about the strategic objectives, clear and hidden ones, in such client organization. And you can look at who they have partnered with before, or whom they have contracted with before, subcontractors, contractors, grantees, and sub-grantees. By knowing these previous procurement notices and whom they have worked with, you start building an image, an understanding of this client organization, and which will help you. The result is, this will help you to write what we call a client focused, because you're writing your solutions and the story that you will tell is a client focused. You have this focus, client focused, as well as because of the list of who have worked with. When you skim such a list, you will know potential competitors, or you will know potential partners who have worked with the same client, so you can join forces. And once you know potential competitors, because hypothetically, though certainly some of those consulting firms or non-governmental organizations, grantees and contractors who worked with that client before, funding agency, most probably will bid for. They might not, but they will bid for. So I will say, hypothetically, I will select 3 to 4 potential competitors. Hypothetically, understand them more. So reading them. Once I read these competitors, I will start learning more about what they have done before. And I start putting why I am different, my differentiators and discriminators. So we start what you call highlighting these differentiators and discriminators, as well as we can see that there are some similarities, what they provide, we provide, so we can level the field in writing the proposal. So this information is important for proposal developers, previous procurement notices of clients, as well as list of partners and competitors clients have worked with. I mean by client, the funding agency in our industry. And the result is to be able to get the information, to extract the information from these documents, from such analysis and research, to be able to, by the end of the day, the purpose is to develop client-focused, competitive proposal. Okay, fine, we understand the client and we understand the lay of the ground. Choose players on the ground. It's like a game. You need to be like an athletic, a sportsman who was before the game. Here we are. Okay, then we start developing our solutions, which is one of the most important areas, what we call technical approach or the methodology, one of the most important sections of a proposal. Okay, so how can I start preparing technical solutions? Usually, technical subject matter expertise in certain area, let's say decentralization or local governance or strengthening civil society organizations, or the use of water and wastewater reuse, or an engineering services for smart agriculture. Who can be able to put a solution on the ground that will be funded so we can get in a 3 or 4 years an impact, an outcome? Usually technical subject matter expertise. However, even if you don't have the technical subject matter expertise, or we have ones, but we need to add on their subject, we need to learn more about previous technical solutions, approaches, methodologies, implementation mechanisms on the ground. This is what you call knowledge. You need to capture knowledge. What are the knowledge products that we have as a proposal developer I have in my hand, in my control, that I can learn from? Simple. One of them is request for proposals of other donor agencies in similar country or in the regional level on the MENA region in similar development sectors. If I'm applying for a USAID for a project and would like to develop a solution, it wouldn't harm at all to look at a similar UK aid funded project in conflict resolution in Iraq, for instance, and see how the UK, which is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the United Kingdom, look at these, how they're going to handle this in Iraq or in Syria. And what doesn't harm at all to see another Stephen Foundation, State Department solution and exchange visits and scholarship programs they do for youth empowerment in Morocco. So I learned from these RFPs, and I start putting these nice vocabulary, the buzzwords, the terms, and I start learning what they do, and then our proposal team, or me as a proposal writer, I start thinking, is this applicable to my current case? I try to the current case, which is the current request for a proposal that is in my hand that I need to submit in a couple of weeks. So this is very interesting to learn from. The second knowledge product that you need to learn from are success stories, which is very hard to find, by the way. And this is the issue of development aid, and this is the true, frankly speaking, the ugly truth of development aid in the MENA region. That there are not that much of success stories that we can learn from to inspire our coming in or coming funding. So successful stories or projects fact sheets is another knowledge product or case studies that we need to read, and these usually small ones, so it's very easy for a proposal writer to read, and accordingly they can come up with good solutions, technical approach, methodology. Webinars, attending webinars is another knowledge product, or listen to previous webinars. It's recording webinars is a great knowledge product. Gives an hour webinar, you listen to it, you get information. It's a great to inspire and feed solutions. These are what we call, these are the food for thought. And that's what most funding agencies, they claim that in the Arab region, that most of our local and national NGOs and consulting firms does not have enough food for thought to put on the ground, to put on the table, to be funded and convince and work. But however, remember, and yes, we would like to have thoughtful solutions and we'd like to have technical approaches, but those not as a philosopher, but these approaches should comply with and in compliance with the request for a proposal and the client needs. And here is the thin hair for a good proposal writers and moderate proposal writers or business developers, in which they need to link these approaches with their understanding of the client. So it's like a puzzle game to get things together so they can tell a story at the end of the day. It's not a solution that I like it and I love it, I believe in it, but the client doesn't like it. Or the client is looking for a different direction of how they're going to solve an issue. So there should be this kind of balance between the solutions that we're going to select with the client understanding. Again, to remind you again, what are these products? Previous requests for proposals for other donor agencies in similar sectors and development sectors, same country or region, because we can think the region is almost the same. From Morocco, you can see about employment issues, similar RFPs, similar coming from Lebanon, and the same issue of employment and employment discussed. You see similarities in the whole Middle East region. Successful stories project success stories, and webinars. And what's the purpose of this solution-oriented, this social solutions development during the proposal writing second day or third day of the process is to develop technical approach. We call it solution-oriented and impact-driven approach. So if you have a solution-oriented that is going to be impact-driven and with the client, in line with the client, in the client objectives, a client understanding, you are in the way to a winning proposal. You are in the process to a winning proposal. Then personnel. Number 4, personnel. We have to find the right personnel, the right chief of party, the right project manager, the right team leader, the right technical specialists. And those people, so in DARPE as well, by the way, we have a list, a roster of technical expertise, development expertise, who have worked in the Middle East. They have experience in development aid, worked in any of the countries of the Middle East, either local or international, by the way, regardless of nationality, but they have experience in the Middle East. And we are classifying them not only per sector or per country of expertise, but also per clients, donors they have worked with. So if I can find that person, have similar expertise, sector expertise, similar experience in the same country, similar experience, most important, with the same donor agency, as well as that person who has the experience of the approach the technical approach, the solution I am proposing, this is the bingo. This is the right most, we call it best and brightest. And this will be your black horses in the evaluation, because these are the personnel who will, because by the end of the day, non-governmental organizations or consulting firms are service providers. We provide services. We provide developmental services, engineering services, women empowerment services. It's all about the people who we hire in our proposal, in our project. So, and this comes from the early stage, from the proposal section, as a proposal stage in which we select the right personnel. DARPE has a huge list of these personnel, and we invite you guys attending this webinar to register your CV, register your profile at DARPE, because the thousands of DARPE members can look at your CV and might be potentially that you be contacted and seen and visible. So potential employer or contractor that to work with you in the future. So this personnel selection is so important, because important to feed in what we call in the proposal document the personnel section. So and then number 5 is, once you have client understanding, competition understanding, partners, solutions, personnel, you are ready to write. Just write. And the most 5 important sections of a proposal are the executive summary. The first 1 or 2 pages, when the client reads, or the funding agency reads, will encourage them to continue reading the whole document, or will discourage them and stop reading. Again, Christine, could you please mute everyone? Everyone, please mute yourself. The last stage, so executive summary, during the proposal, 5 major sections. Executive summary, then project understanding and client understanding. Here, where you put your understanding of the client objectives or the project objectives in your words, and you improve it, and you increase and enhance and show your muscles and show your knowledge of a better understanding of the client and understanding of the project. Because at that time, the client will say, yes, this is the ready contractor, consulting firm, or this is the ready grantee, the non-governmental organization who understand me well, understand my objective, and understand my client, understand the beneficiaries. So let's bring them in. We will not find any difficulty to mobilize and start working. And we will all working on the same direction. The third section is your technical approach, which are your solutions. The fourth section, important for the non-governmental as well as specifically for the consulting firms, is the personnel section. And the fifth One is your work plan, in which you put your, it's a Gantt chart, an Excel developed chart, in which you put list of some activities with a bar chart, time-based schedule. Each activity has a duration, starting date, finishing date, and the relationship between these activities. And then you, from this work plan, it's an important section of your proposal. Once you have this, we in DARPE, we have developed an online proposal development tool. This online proposal development tool has been designed, but certainly that has generic questions, not very generic, but questions that let you start to think and to get the most important information that you need to have. So in order for you to write client-focused, competitive, persuasive, and thoughtful proposal. So many members of DARPE has used this online development proposal from the after the third day, fourth day, or fifth day. Once they have all the information ready, they start writing it on the online tool that we have developed. So they develop 3 or 4 or 5 pages, what we call early draft of the proposal, which is a 20%, 25%, 30% of the proposal document. And then you take it and you start enhancing, improving, adding graphics, adding illustrations, redesign, improve, and so on. But these are important because it's what the proposal development tool, the online one, what provides our members with is a foundation for the proposal document itself. And then accordingly, you build upon the second draft, the third draft, and we call it zero draft. And then I think I would like just to let you know that in March 2021, we had a survey and we found that 40% of our members have been able to win new contracts and or grant awards. This is a great percentage. However, we are trying to maximize to 60% of our members, and hopefully we can reach 80%. And why? Because they are using the knowledge and the know-how and the information presented, as I had just described now, as a best practice to a winning proposal. So many firms in the Middle East, so many non-governmental organizations in the Middle East, they don't exceed 10% of winning rate. I mean, they submit 100 proposals, they get only 10. But the idea is to get 30%, which is the idealistic. 40% is great, 60% is more than great, 80% is an outstanding. We are happy to have reached this percentage because this means that our members are now trying to investigate more about DARPE features, more about knowledge and know-how in order to write a developed and winning proposal. Thank you very much for listening. And now I've finished my presentation and I am now available for questions and answers. Noor, do you want to moderate this kind of?
Yes, so at this point we can have our room for questions. If you'd like to ask a question, either ask me to speak in the chat and I will repeat your question for everybody to hear. Please keep yourself muted for the benefit of everybody, but just put your question in the chat and we will have it for everybody to hear. If you would like to speak, you can also request it from the chat. So we have one question already from Jumana Kiswali. How can we post for candidates recruitment?
Who would like to answer this question?
Yeah, sure. So actually we have on DARPE, we are available to take in any candidates recruitment. You can go on our website and you can go to the post-procurement notice. It'll ask you a few basic questions about your TOR, and then you can post it on our website for free. And we'll take care of that for you. I'll post the link in the chat for anybody who's interested in that. We have a second question. Could you please explain more details regarding how does the online proposal development tool work?
Yes, actually, the proposal development tool is a template. It's a template, يعني questions. It's organized into executive summary, and under executive summary there are four questions to answer, in which each question will lead to write a paragraph. And then there's a technical approach, like project understanding and client understanding. And there are like some specific questions under this section. Each question will lead you to a paragraph. And then technical approach, again, similar. What is your technical solution? What is the impact of your solution? What is the implementation mechanism of your solution? Who are the stakeholders and beneficiaries, for instance? And you will answer these questions. And each question will lead you to a paragraph. And then you have the work plan, in which you can describe your work plan, and the most important work plan, how you are saving time, how you are mobilizing, how you're accelerating, some kind of questions that supports you to get up with some of winning themes. And each one will have you like a number of bullets under the work plan. And the same thing for personnel. So the template is about 5 sections or 6 sections, as I remember. Each one will have like 4 or 5 specific questions. So you can say 5 specific questions multiplied by 6, you get 30. So you have 30 paragraphs. These 30 paragraphs means, under 5 sections, means about 5 pages, 6 pages. And this is the first initial foundation of your proposal, because the template has been specifically designed to win, to sell, to market your programmatic programs and technical approach with the client understanding, with the strength that you bring into the table. Okay. Thank you.
For those of you asking about the handout, we will be posting this webinar's recording on our website, and you can check it out there. We'll also be circulating it via email once we're done. We have a question from Monique. She's asking, are experts in the expert pool generated by DARPE, or do experts sign up themselves? These experts are actually signed up themselves. I'm going to answer that one. We basically we source them, and people will put their CVs up. So if you're interested in putting up your profile, you can also do that on our website. I will share the link for that now. You can post your CV, and that way you can be more visible as a technical expert in the field. Yeah, here's the link for that. We have another question. Bear with me. All right. Where can I find grants? Can you name websites or well-known grant givers?
Actually, the grants, generally, they are open for public, for everyone. So the issue is that you need to search. So you go to USAID website, and you'll find a place in which they put their procurement notices. You go to the UK Aid Fund, and you find it. You go to UNIFIC, which is a Netherlands, but it will be difficult for you to know UNIFIC. You will know GIZ, you will know USAID, you will know European Union, and you can. It's easy. It's there. It's online. You can track it every day. You can have someone to track it every day. So it's fine. It's available. But so most of those organizations put it on public. And why they put it in public? Because they want to have more proposals, more competitive proposals. Imagine many organizations are re-advertise and delay because they don't receive good proposals. So, or competitive, or best value. So it's available everywhere. But DARPE here comes in as aggregator, in which we are the experts. We have tracking lists. We update these tracking lists of these websites. We have 850 plus websites. We track them by eye, by personal people, that people are tracking them, or by we have a coded design, artificial intelligence design code algorithm to collect and scrap these tenders and put them into one floor called DARPE. And we don't do that only, but we classify. So you can have a searchable, reliable engine to see, to filter the opportunities that fits your areas of expertise. Noor.
Okay. I would also argue that the best place for you to find grants is on DARPE, because we are aggregators of grants and tenders. So if you signed up with DARPE, we would give you all of these resources at the tip of your fingers. It would be very easy for you to see many grants and tenders that are available, and you wouldn't have to look at all these different websites all in one day. It would make that a lot simpler for you. So you have another question here is, what if a firm is starting up and doesn't have a track record and previous experience? How do we present ourselves? Mr. Ala, you're on mute.
Do you want to answer this question, or shall I answer?
Please keep yourself muted if you're not the speaker. Sure, I can give you a little bit of a record on that. So if you're starting up, I think the best way for you to present yourself is to be technically good in your know-how. So first, you would start by reading up on the client and reading up on their past, where they've spent their money in the past, so that you can really understand where their priorities are at. Make sure that your language is very firm, and so you can use all of these past proposals to write a very good technical proposal. And maybe if you don't have the track record right now, you can enter into consortiums with different other organizations to help boost your profile. We can help you with that at DARPE as well, because we have a directory of different development aid implementing partners. And so you can partner up with these different organizations to help make it easier for you to obtain bigger grant profiles. Hope that answers your question. We have a question here from Moon. He asks about the success stories. How do you come up with a story if we are new and don't have stories to tell? That's a very interesting question. Again, you can start by coming up with stories about what you have done, like what has your organization accomplished to date. And I know that's a difficult thing to say, but without showing your work, it becomes really difficult for you to get funding opportunities.
Or Noor, usually early entry organizations in the market usually look for subcontracting opportunities with international organizations or consulting firms, so you get a subcontracting to be subcontracted. In any case, if you even don't have that record, or if you don't have that story to tell that you have achieved, I'm sure that each consulting firm and each non-governmental organization has a philosophy and a vision and a mission. And this vision and the mission can be translated into a theory of a change, in which you say, here what we are going to do, here is our procedures, here is our way of thinking, here's the stakeholders and the beneficiaries that we are going to support, and here's what we are anticipating of results and outcomes to be resulted because of our interventions. So you brand awareness, brand recognition, and do a webinar. You can hold a webinar just to let people know how you are going, what you are doing, the way that you are going to do it, and the how that you are going to do something, even if you haven't achieved anything. You just transmit the knowledge and the idea, the noble idea, the noble idea, and the perfect process, the input, the process, the outcome, and the output of that, what you are bringing in the table. And this is the way that you start. And then the most important is to engage with those clients, funding agencies, or international agencies, contracting agencies, international organizations, to be a subcontractor. And the minute that you get a project, Khalas, you put yourself on the first step because you still start that project. Then you start sell the achievements of what you have done on that project, and so on. And accordingly, the ice ball will start rolling and growing. Thank you.
Okay. We have another question here asking, is it true that shortlisting of proposals is often done by algorithm? And if so, how does that inform the terminology and content we use for the proposal?
Again, please, is it true that the first shortlisting?
The first shortlisting of proposals is done by algorithm. And if so, how does that inform the terminology and content we use for the proposal?
Let me explain it again. It's not shortlisting. We are not shortlisting. We are aggregator. So the shortlisting usually is done by donors or client agencies, in which, for instance, 20 people submit for them, and then they want to have a shortlist of 6 to 8. So they select the best of those 26 of 8. And then once they are shortlisted, they send them directly the second step, and this is, you call it two-step contracting. They send them directly the request for proposal, in which the 6 to 8 people are bidding for these projects. But we are not shortlisting. What we do is we are tracking 850 plus websites on daily basis. Who can look at these 850 websites daily? Because tenders and the grants are time sensitive.
Sorry, sir.
Are time sensitive. So we on a daily basis, we collect the data and we classify the data. So an algorithm or some of the coding, that's scrap, that just bring the data to the back end. And then our staff starts cleaning the data and putting into our platform, cleaned, classified, searchable. The second part of the question is, does that inform the terminology and content we use for the proposal? Terminology and content.
I think you misunderstood the question. I think they're asking, I think you misunderstood the question. I think they're asking, when you present your proposal to the donor agency, do they actually shortlist their proposals based on an algorithm?
No. Donor agencies don't do that. They read it. There are evaluators and a group of evaluators who read these RFPs, these proposals, and start grading them against the evaluation criteria, which usually is part of the request for proposal. And according to the grade, it's a process, evaluation process, it's a process. So it's not the place now we talk about it, but no, it's not done. It's done. People should read to understand what's going on. It's not algorithm, no.
Okay, it's asking, what is the difference between a grant and a tender, and what, in terms of application, and which is better for the NGOs?
I didn't see the question, but the tender is usually, again, can you repeat the question, Noor? I didn't hear it well.
What is the difference between tenders and grants in terms of the application and the RFP, which is better for NGOs?
Tenders and grants. Tenders, as usually these are terms, vocabulary in our industry, not more, not that than that. However, tenders are usually requests for proposals directed to consulting firms or directed to for-profit businesses and organizations who provide services against fee and profit. The grants are those requests for proposals as well, or sometimes they call it call for applications, a request for applications, which are directed to organizations and businesses, non-profit. So grants are for NGOs, tenders are for private sector consulting firms. However, as I said in the beginning, development aid is a very complex and it's a very dynamic. Now, sometimes consulting firms apply for grants and they forgo profit. They say profit is zero. We will not get profit. And sometimes they do it strategically. It's done and for strategic opportunities, but it's a long shot. For grantee as well as NGOs nowadays started to bid for projects for consulting firms. I know a number of consulting firms, they are competing with consulting firms. I know a local organization working in social accountability, and they have been contracted, not grant. They got a contract, not grant, contract for the delivery of social accountability and citizens scorecard, a consultancy assignment with the World Bank, and they are non-profit. So they bid for the tender. However, the general theory, grants are better for NGOs, tenders are better for consulting firms, but sometimes it may happen cross fertilization between both.
Okay, I think that's all the questions that we have. If there's no more questions, we can move to close the meeting for today.
But there are more questions, I think. That's right.
No, that was all the questions. We answered all of them.
Okay, because here the.
Sorry, I have my question not answered.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. Can there be put already winning proposals to learn and take lessons from them? Or it's not possible?
No, it's not possible for us to do. We don't have the rights to anybody's winning proposals in order for us to share it on the website.
And let me tell you advice.
Yeah, okay.
Winning proposals usually is intellectual property, and it's costly. I remember a firm who put a proposal for South Africa project, public-private partnership with USAID. The project was about $15 million project, and the proposal cost, they sent experts to the field to meet with local consultants, to meet with local partners, to meet with stakeholders, ministry representatives of the ministries of the South African ministry, the country, to be able to put a winning proposal. So this kind of missions, travel, writing, and they brought technical subject matter. Actually, there are 5 people used to work on that proposal, and it cost them $90,000 to prepare this document. And they won it. But it's so difficult to put proposals, winning proposals, that people share their sweat and blood that they have done in writing. And the second thing, every proposal is unique. It's not copy and paste. Maybe you learn from, maybe you read them, but every proposal is unique. And as I said, it's about process to relevantly select a tender, then client understanding, then project understanding, then personnel that suits the requirements, then solution that suits the requirements. So it's every proposal is different and unique. And I think examples of proposals might help as a reading generally, but it's not so much effective, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
Amru Khatir had a couple of questions. I'm going to ask you to unmute so you can ask.
Yes, regarding the issue of proposals, and every proposal is unique and it's intellectual property, and of course it costs money, but maybe there could be some like best examples of proposals that has been made just as templates, just to gain know-how and insight how to approach such opportunities. I'm talking from like a beginner's perspective, dealing with grants and funding organizations. There just some simple templates that just can give us some insight. My second question, I'm a believer always in consultancy, that it's about how to handpick and matchmake the right expertise, the right know-how, the best practice with the needs. Do you offer any tools that can help us in handpicking the right experts to match with the right opportunity? Is there a way that we can learn this more and to ensure that we are picking the right experts for the right opportunities? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Are really great. Let me take about the template first. Template, there are so many templates, empty templates. From you if you go to DARPE, you'll find so many different funding organizations and international organizations. You go to their websites, and you will find free available templates and free guidelines to write your proposal. But templates, executive summary, your methodology, and they tell you what the methodology should be and the rationale. And then the technical approach, they tell you it should be solution-oriented, tell us your implementation mechanisms and how you can synergize with other donor agencies, or how can you work with the different stakeholders. They tell you some of the tips to develop, to write, to answer. So there are templates available everywhere. World Bank has excellent templates. USAID has perfect templates. GIZ, excellent ones. KFW, bravo. Netherlands, the Ministry of Netherlands, DANIDA, SIDA, everyone has his own templates. The problem is not about the template, but what to write in the template, the content, al-muhtawa. This is the knowledge. And this is not different from one proposal to another proposal. الكلام اللي جوه, the words inside the template. For instance, I would say, okay, we'll work with the Ministry of Iraq, and you know to understand that what is Ministry of Iraq, of, for instance, the local government, and we understand that the local governance issues are based on, for instance, tribal, some other political issues or political factors that could be considered, and we think that our proposal will be a top-bottom approach, not bottom-up approach. So you are working to more centralizing rather than decentralizing. This is what the donor would like to listen, either to give you the grant, or they say, no, this approach, this solution is hasn't worked before, not proven, is not according to the RFP, and not according to the context, it's a failure. So there is out. Or this is successful, this is what we need, here is what we have. So the issue is, what is in it rather than the template. But templates are available everywhere, every donor agency, and you can see a like UNDP, UNAIDS, United Nations, AIDS, UNAIDS, they have excellent templates. They have excellent logical framework on Excel sheet even. It's even there. The Excel sheet is there, the template is there. You just download it and you start putting your logical framework, which is the monitoring and evaluation plan, or you start putting your proposal on the template. But what to write in? What is the objective? What is the specific objective? What are the activities? What are the methodologies? How can we implement it? Who to synergize with? So it's a lot about research and data information before. So this is about the template I believe in, but still I think you are right that some written successful proposals may give understanding of how things are written. But even if you want to write to learn from a written proposal, you need to have the RFP as well. So read the request for a proposal, and then read that proposal, the winning one, so you can mix and match. Otherwise, if you are just reading the proposal itself, I think it's 50% of the knowledge. The consultancy handpicked, actually, DARPE, for instance, is an automated system. It's a website, it's an online, it's a coded website. Algorithms, code, designers, computer designers, software applications. And the DARPE gives you the first filtration of selection, the hand-picked selection. So for instance, if there is a request for a proposal, DARPE automatically start looking on the whole database that we have, over 4,000 organizations, and select those organizations who have worked with the client before, have done similar development sectors and subsectors to that request for proposal, have worked in the country of location that is for that specific proposal. So it gives you a list of 90 organizations that has worked, that could be, I can say, hand-picked, but not completely hand-picked. Then the proposal writer, I believe, and this is a great step forward because no one knows who is there in the market. And that big data, we collect it and we put it into a simplified, digested way. And then once you have this 90, a list of 90, that matching, same previous with the same client, same sector, same location, then you start select from them. Start going back. I think there should be someone who go to each website and try to see what the kind of projects they have, what kind of expertise they have, what kind of models they done, what their stories are. And then you start saying, okay, I think from the 90, we're going to have the list into 4, and let's select 1 or 2 of those 4, either to be partners or potential competitors. And it's good to have them as a potential competitor, because when you write your proposal, the proposal document that you will write, you need to show that you understand the competition, because the evaluator will receive 4 or 5 proposals. Why your proposal is different than others? Here you bring in the brainstorming or the idea generations comes up from the proposal writer automatically by hypothetically identified competitors. Of course, if you don't know them per se. That's why, again, proposal itself doesn't help read, because if you want to read a good proposal, you need to read it in light of the RFP and in light of the competition. It's a complicated process, but it's interesting. Go ahead.
I believe that's all the questions that we have. If anybody else has any last remaining questions, now would be the time to ask for it.
Oh, hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, how are you? So actually, can you please just share the materials of this presentation? Is it possible to have it?
Yes, we'll be sharing it at the end of the presentation.
Through the email or here in the chat?
Through the email, we'll be sending around the presentation as well as the recording of this event. That's it. That's what you
Thank
get
you.
today.
Thank you so much. Thank
No
you.
problem. Okay, I think that's everybody. Thank you so much for attending our event. And please keep an eye out for our events. We usually have at least once a month. So we look forward to seeing you again at a DARPE webinar. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.